There is a terrifying question hidden inside almost every possession story. Not what entered the house, not what came through the door, but when did the voice stop being yours? Because possession stories rarely begin with violence. They begin with influence, a suggestion, a whisper, a small compromise, something subtle, something gradual, until eventually the person is still there, but something else is making decisions. And maybe the most unsettling part is real life often works the same way. Hi, my name is Steph Fitzgerald, and I'm the experience architect. I design how systems shape human experience. And this is Experience Systems, where leadership, psychology, and design converge into living systems. But on Sundays, we step somewhere darker, a little stranger, a little softer, a little more midnight. Less lecture, more candlelight, more stories told too late at night. So welcome to Creatures of the Night. And tonight, we talk about possession. Not demons, not exorcisms, not spinning heads and haunted houses. We talk about influence and the systems that slowly convince us their thoughts are our own. Possession stories exist almost everywhere. Ancient spirits, demons, curses, malevolent entities, different cultures, different explanations, different symbols, yet the pattern remains. A person begins changing. Behavior shifts. Language changes. Values drift. Friends notice first. Family notices next. Eventually someone says, "That doesn't seem like them." And that's the moment the story begins. Because possession stories aren't really about monsters. They're about identity, agency, and control. They're about the fear that something else might be steering. Humans are influenced constantly by culture, by friends, by media, by groups. This isn't weakness, it's normal. We are social creatures. We learn from each other, adapt to each other, mirror each other. But sometimes influence becomes something more. Not because it becomes supernatural, because it becomes invisible. The most powerful influences are often the ones we stop noticing. Organizations have possession stories too. Not literal possession, cultural possession. A team starts repeating the same assumptions, the same explanations, the same narratives, not because they're true, because they're accepted. Over time, questioning feels uncomfortable. Alternative views feel risky. Dissent feels dangerous. And eventually, people stop asking, is this right? and start asking, will this fit? That's how groupthink works. Not through force, through belonging. Think about where we've been. The mimic stole your voice. The doppelganger distorted your identity. The skinwalker adapted to survive. The watcher changed behavior through observation. And now we arrive at possession, the moment when adaptation becomes internalized. The moment when the system no longer needs to pressure you because you've learned to pressure yourself. The strongest systems don't rely on external control. They create internal control. People monitor themselves, correct themselves, limit themselves, police themselves. No watcher required. No punishment necessary. The system has already moved inside. This is why certain beliefs persist long after their original source disappears. The rules remain even when the rule maker is gone. The voice remains even when the speaker has left. And that's what makes possession such a useful metaphor. Because the most powerful systems don't tell you what to think. They convince you the thought originated with you. Possession stories often include one strange detail. The possessed person rarely realizes it at first. Everyone else notices. Everyone else worries. Everyone else sees the change. It's because certainty can be seductive. When people become convinced they have all the answers, curiosity disappears, reflection disappears, doubt disappears, and sometimes healthy doubt is what protects us from unhealthy certainty. Because the moment we stop examining our beliefs, we become vulnerable to whatever belief is currently examining us. Good leadership doesn't create followers. It creates thinkers. People capable of questioning, evaluating, disagreeing, contributing. Weak systems seek compliance. Strong systems seek understanding. Because understanding survives scrutiny. Compliance does not. And any system that becomes threatened by honest questions should probably be examined more closely, not less. Perhaps the real question isn't whether possession exists. Perhaps the question is, what owns your attention? What owns your identity? What owns your decision-making? What beliefs have you inherited without inspection? What narratives have you accepted without examination? What assumptions feel so obvious you stop questioning them? Because every system leaves fingerprints. The challenge is learning to recognize them. Maybe possession stories have survived centuries because humans understand this fear instinctively. Not the fear that something enters us, the fear that we stop noticing what already has. Because influence is easy, belonging is powerful, and certainty is comforting. But awareness is freedom. So maybe the question tonight isn't, what would possess me? Maybe it's, what beliefs am I carrying that no longer belong to me? And if you followed those thoughts back to their source, would you still choose them? Because every system wants something. Every story leaves a mark. Every influence has a cost. And wisdom begins the moment we ask, whose voice is this? Good night, my creatures. It's time to rise.